Hey guys, Emily here with my very first Once Upon a Time video blog recap. Alright, this episode answered so many burning questions that I've had since the beginning of the season, and I'm sure you guys have had as well. First off, who cast the curse and sent everyone back to Storybrooke? I know we all were thinking, oh, it has to be Zelena, but I always had a hunch all along that it wasn't exactly her that cast the curse. I figured she had a hand in making everyone forget their memories, but I definitely thought that she was not the one to physically cast the curse. And we found out that I was right. Zelena is not the one who cast the curse, and the answer shocked me, and it probably shocked a lot of you. To find out who cast the curse, we went back to the fairy tale land that was without Emma, and we see that Snow and Charming are about to announce their pregnancy to their entire kingdom. But Philip and Aurora warn them that that might not be the best idea because Zelena is after their baby. The reason they know this is because, if you remember back in the first episode of the second half of the season, Philip and Aurora, when everyone came back, they seemed pretty fishy and we didn't really know what they were up to, but now it seems that the Wicked Witch threatened their baby if they did not warn her when Snow and Charming came back to the Enchanted Forest. So, with that in tow, Zelena shows up and, for good measure, turns Philip and Aurora into flying monkeys. She seems to like to do that to people she doesn't really like, and takes a look at her precious cargo that Snow is carrying. She tells her to make sure she takes care of her baby and that she will have her baby. It's kind of creepy. Like, why does she need a baby for this curse? It must be pretty bad. Like, she's going to change the course of time, so it'll be interesting to see if she actually gets her hands on this baby, and if she does, what happens with it. So then they decide that the only way that they can maybe find out how to defeat Zelena is to go and find Rumpelstiltskin, who Belle told them that she kind of sort of resurrected. Like, she tries to explain to them the whole Neil morphing into Rumpel, like, all that stuff, and they seem as confused as all of us were when we saw it happen. So they set off for the Dark One's castle with Robin Hood in tow. He's the only one that's ever been able to break into it before, so obviously they need his help. And Regina and him sassing back and forth. I'm so in love with their relationship already, and it gets even better in Storybrooke. So they go to the Dark One's castle, they find Rumpel, who's absolutely insane, and he tells Belle that light is the only thing that can stop Zelena. Light magic, as in Glinda, the Good Witch of the North. So now we have another Oz character to be introduced to this episode, which was awesome. So Snow, Charming, and Regina set off to the Dark Forest, to the northern region where Glinda was banished from Oz, and they find out that there's a door they can go through, but only the pure of heart can pass through it. So of course that means Regina can't go through. She tries a couple times and just walks straight through, and then there's nothing there, and it's actually pretty funny. So Snow and Charming get in, they find Glinda. She tells them that unfortunately she isn't even powerful enough to stop Zelena. Only someone who was born of true magic, made out of love, is strong enough to stop her, which of course means Emma. But there's a problem. Emma is not in the Enchanted Forest. They have no way to get back to Emma. So Snow comes up with the great idea that the Dark Curse is the only way they'd be able to get back to Storybrooke and find Emma. So they go to Regina. Regina tells them that since she's already given up the thing she loves most, and then the other thing she loves most is with Emma, and she would never sacrifice Henry, she can't cast the curse again. So Charming volunteers to sacrifice himself so that Snow can cast the curse and send everyone back to Storybrooke. This blew my mind. I did not expect this at all. I was totally expecting maybe like Philip or Aurora or Mulan maybe would come back and sacrifice herself for Aurora. Like, I don't know, I just really did not see it coming with Snow and Charming. They had this super tear-felt goodbye, and it was crazy, and Charming tells her that he loves her, and then he's like, you have to crush my heart, so she crushes it, and he dies. He was literally dead, and I was freaking out because he's alive in Storybrooke, so there had to be some kind of crazy explanation of how this happened. So we see that Zelena comes in, hijacks the curse, sends, of course, once again late to the party, and doesn't get to cast the curse once again. She adds a forgetting potion to it so that everybody forget everything they learned about defeating her, and then she tells them that Charming died in vain. Snow is obviously so upset that her husband might have died for nothing, so she's like, Regina, you need to try something. You need to take out my heart and break it in two because we beat with one heart, like Charming told her that before he died. So she believes in their love so much that she's willing to risk her own life and their baby's life on this hunch that maybe her heart, if they split it in two, will be good enough. And surprisingly, or not so surprisingly because it's Once Upon a Time, it works. Charming gets resurrected right before the curse descends, and it was kind of crazy. The other thing we learned in the Enchanted Forest is who sent Hook the message to go save Emma. This one was not as shocking as the curse caster, but it still was a doozy. Rumple and Zelena are at his castle. She's preparing for the curse to set in, so she makes a memory potion so that she won't forget everything when she goes to Storybrooke. She gives another part of it to Rumple and says he can either take it or do whatever he wants with it. Like, if he wants to forget, he can forget, or if he wants to remember, he can. Neil somehow manages to get out of Rumple's body for like 2 minutes, enough time to stop Rumple from drinking the potion, tie it to a bird, send it with a note, and tells him to go find Killian Jones on the Jolly Roger. That was, I mean, Neil knew he was dying. He knew he was pretty much dead. He had to have known that Hook, like, loves Emma enough to get it done, and I thought it was a really great moment for Neil and for Hook and their little bromance kind of friendship that they had. I'm so sad that it's not going to be a thing anymore. So then in Storybrooke, Emma and the crew decide that they need to get Henry to remember so that Emma can break the curse by kissing him, because it's only going to work if they both believe in magic. So the storybook is the logical explanation, so they set out to find it. Henry gets left in the dust once again, and he's so upset about it. I mean, if I was this kid and my mom was lying to me left and right and I could tell, I'd be really mad. Just like leaving him with strangers, like going on boats, like he's only 12, 13, like I would be pretty suspicious too. So he tells Emma that she needs to stop lying to him, and she comes back like, no, I'm your mom, I know what's best, and you're gonna have to listen to me. He seems to be okay with it, but of course Henry always has a plan. He steals Emma's car keys and tries to steal her car. Like, okay, your driving lesson with Charming was not enough for you to go drive to New York. Good thing for us and for everyone, Hook finds him, but before he's about to steal a car. He really is Neil's son, stealing cars and all that stuff. And he tells him, oh, you looks like you're trying to run away. I'll help you, I have a better way. And Hook does this because he was kidnapped by Zelena and the Dark One earlier in the episode, and they told him if he didn't, well, Zelena told him that if he didn't kiss Emma soon, she was going to kill Henry. So Hook was kind of in between a rock and a hard place, so he's like, okay, the best thing I can do right now is to try and help Henry escape. He brings him to the docks, tells him that Mr. Smee, which Henry totally recognizes this from Peter Pan, and they think that he remembers, but he's like, no, I've seen that movie 100 times. And he's like, okay, he's setting off for New York, he has room on his ship, you can go with him. And then, of course, right before they can get on the boat and go away, flying monkeys attack. Because somehow Zelena has some weird sixth sense and she can tell when people are trying to leave. I honestly think, though, that Smee might be a spy. There was a lot of fishy references in the last couple episodes about him being a rat, and I honestly think that he might be working for Zelena in some way, or spying on Hook for her or something. So flying monkeys come in, they start attacking. Obviously Henry has no idea what's going on. Hook and Smee run into the boathouse, trying to protect him. Emma and Regina and everyone, after they find the storybook, go back, realize Henry is gone. Luckily for Emma and her bail bondsman trick, she has GPS in Henry's phone. They track him to the docks. They show up just in time to help finish off all the flying monkeys, which, are the flying monkeys all people? Because if so, that means they totally just killed like a ton of people. Like, it might have been Aurora or Philip or Little John, like who knows who just bit the dust with these flying monkeys. So they get rid of the flying monkeys, they think Henry's safe, they give him the storybook. Emma tells him to trust her, to believe in magic. He grabs the storybook and he instantly remembers all his memories. I really liked how they did that, how the storybook is what brought back his memories, because he was the one who got Emma to believe with the storybook, so it was only fitting that the storybook brought back his own memories of all the magic he used to believe in. So then, after he has his memories back, and he calls Regina Mom, and it was the cutest thing, of course, Zelina shows up and poofs Henry away from Emma and Regina into her arms and is trying to strangle him. She warns Emma that it's all Hook's fault. If he would have done what she said, then Henry would still be safe. Obviously confused and so pissed off that Zelina is threatening her son's life, Emma uses her awesome magic and burns Zelina's hands off of Henry's neck, or sears them so she has to let go. Frees Henry. Zelina's pissed, is like, basically, I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too kind of scenario, and poofs away. So once that's solved, Henry has his memories back. He starts to catch up with Regina, which was so sweet. And he also mentions that there had to have been something crazy going on with his mom, who doesn't really want to tell him anything, says his life is more important than hers in the past year. But he caught Robin and Regina basically making out in the hallway at Granny's. And it was so cute. They were so smitten, and I'm just obsessed. I'm obsessed with their relationship. It's like the cutest thing. I'm so happy for Regina. And so she tells him that she's seeing Robin Hood, which of course Henry, with his memories back, now thinks that that's the coolest thing ever. Hey, cool stepdad, Robin Hood, awesome. So then Robin shows up, introduces himself to Henry. They leave like a cute little family unit, and it's adorable. Of course, the happiness ends there because Hook has to deal with the repercussions of what he's done, and Emma confronts him. She asks if he's working for Zelina, like what's going on. He tries to brush it off, says, she backed me into a corner, I was just trying to do what I thought was like trying to save your son, like whatever. Emma was not very happy that he was going to kidnap her son without her knowing and take him away, so she tells him that she can't trust him anymore, which is so devastating because she was just opening up to him finally after last week's episode, and it's just like, the angst is just insane, and I can't handle it. And she also called him Killian without Henry being around, and also Henry has his memories back now, so she doesn't even have to call him Killian anymore, but she still did, which I think is a huge deal. It's kind of, I think that's his arc this season, is Hook's arc is getting away from Hook and becoming Killian Jones again, so it's getting close, and I'm really excited. And more surprisingly so, Emma can't trust him, and then Charming all of a sudden is like, hey dude, we can't trust you either, you told us that we sent you a message, and we didn't send you a message, so no one's in Hook's corner anymore, and I'm pretty sure the witch is going to take advantage of that. So the end of the episode, of course, cliffhanger for next week, Snow goes into labor, and we all know that once the baby comes, Zelina has everything she needs. Once Hook kisses Emma, or she makes Hook kiss Emma, she'll have her magic, she'll have the baby, then she'll also, since she already has her Scarecrow, which is Rumple, her Lion, which is Charming, and her Tin Man, which debatably could be Regina, maybe it's the baby, it's still kind of up in the air, but since she has Regina's heart, I'm going to say Regina. And next week, in the promo, we see that we're going back to Oz to finally meet Dorothy. I'm very excited about next week's episode. It's going to be crazy. In the preview, we see that Hook is falling to the ground, and Emma's there, and Dorothy's there, and Glinda's there in Oz, and we see that Snow's going into labor, and the witch is descending on the hospital, and it's the episode before the 2-hour season finale, so it's going to be crazy, I know it, and there's probably going to be some huge cliffhanger, and I'm really excited about it. I hope you guys enjoyed my long, rambly recap of this week's Once Upon a Time. I'm going to try and do this again next week if I can. Make sure you guys stay tuned to Variety Radio Online for my blog recaps, and plus all our other TV recaps, along with our on-air recaps and all the other cool stuff we got going on over at the website. See you next time.